Let's say we have a little bit of fun today. Hope everybody's doing very well. This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the forex market. This is another morning episode of Trade with Travis, um, a live stream where we end up going through and taking a look at pairs, forex pairs, indice pairs, gold pairs, Bitcoin, anything that we can look at being able to build a setup and being able to see if there's any trading opportunities. Uh, we end up doing this during a morning and a night session. So if you are interested in being able to learn a little bit more information about what we end up doing from a trading perspective, make sure that you end up paying attention to all of the live stream settings that they have on TradingView and being able to go through it. It's always good to be able to talk to everyone when it comes down to these pages. So let me go ahead and go through the disclaimer. Then after that, I'll put myself onto the page. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education. And from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and take a look at the economic calendar first and be able to go through everything, I'm going to go ahead and put myself onto the screen and be able to make sure that everybody can be able to see me and say hey and everything else like that that goes along with it. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully everybody has had a a good start of the trading week. The market was kind of slow, went into consolidation, and started to pop out by the end of the week, especially when it came down to index moves. I want to see what's happening with oil and seeing if there's any type of potential play on that. We ended up getting into a trade off of that a little bit earlier yesterday. Had to get out of it a little bit early. Got into it right around 6:30. Got out of it right around 10 because the market actually started to turn around very quickly. So see if there's anything still left in that move. Looking at being able to short it to the downside. So may end up catching something like that. You're interested in being able to learn a little bit more information about my broker or anything else like that, all you have to do is send me a message. I send you a link and everything else that goes along with it, boot camps and everything else that we end up adding along with that as well, including the Discord. I'll be able to place into some of the links a little bit later on. So you can be able to get that and kind of understand what we end up doing from a trade perspective. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening. Today, consumer price index is going to end up happening for the Canadian dollar. Then after that, President Lagarde is going to end up speaking. We are a day before FOMC meeting minutes. Remember, typically the day that's kind of sandwiched in between a high impact news is typically a very slow day when it comes down to trading. Or it may end up being a big pop to put you into a new level, complete a new D extension, and then after that, start to consolidate forward movement. So the question is, what are we going to end up seeing today as FOMC is going to end up being tomorrow? I suggest that we're probably going to end up seeing some slow stuff, but at the end of the day, we may end up having some opportunities that may end up being there, and we'll just talk about them and kind of build those plans out uh, and kind of go from there. So let's go through the big three real quick. I'm gonna kind of quickly move through this, um, and then after that, we'll kind of jump into everything else. I'll take a look at gold because gold's the first thing that ended up popping up on my screen. So gold, we end up taking a look at this from a weekly perspective. What is happening? Market was in a large consolidation box. I know I got a lot of stuff on my screen, but I'm gonna clear the screen real quick. If you can clear the screen and just be able to look at it, you can see this large consolidation box from 20. I think it's from 2070 all the way to 1685. The market has broken below 1685, meaning that to me that the market is starting to have that big drop that may end up happening to the downside. So I am looking at being able to sell on gold when opportunities end up presenting themselves as a opportunity to be able to go from there. Now we take a look at it from a daily perspective. We can be able to see that the market completed a field. I got a lot of stuff going on right here. Let me get this out the way. Um, Market ended up breaking 1685. From there, I ended up saying yesterday that I felt like this market, I believe I ended up saying that I felt like this market was going to end up showing some type of consolidation. And from that consolidation, we could be able to kind of make a better uh, thought of what we wanted to be able to do. Our first sale that we ended up taking was from 1685 all the way down to 1655. Remember, after the market ends up making a movement to the downside, then you'll end up basically creating some type of consolidation from there. Now, as this built up consolidation has created a natural support, a natural resistance a couple times. Now this makes it easier for us to be able to know what type of trade that we want to be able to take moving forward. If the market ends up breaking to the downside of this overall movement, then I would look at being able to take a sale. More than likely, it's probably going to end up being below this support, which is going to end up being below 1659. So I'll be interested in being able to place in my next trade right around that 1658 level. That give us a chance to be able to clear some of that stuff in 1655 and be able to go from there. That will be the new entry. Hold on, move this down. New entry would end up being right around 1658. Stop loss in this case will end up being above the overall resistance high, which ended up being about 1681. Um, and then after that, take profit on this one. Where could we go? Where's the next take profit level off this? Because we just completed the extension. That's the reason why this is looking so out of whack. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So let's take a look at the top of the move, and then after that, we kind of see what's happening. Yeah, that D extension got hit. So um, gonna wait to see how this market kind of reacts. So let's go based off of support resistance and just see it from there. Next level, it's kind of jumbled up around now. I said something about 1553 at one point um, as a major level for this market to be able to go. I don't think that gold is going to, or the United States dollar is going to end up being that strong to be able to push the market all the way down there at that level. But we can look at this in two different spots. So I'll end up saying 1615 will probably end up being the next take profit level. Then after that, obviously you got a major take profit level, which will end up being at 1553 for its overall movement. So the risk reward is going to end up being there. The question is, are we going to end up getting a suitable trade to be able to take? How much push are we going to get from everybody else? What's going to end up being the movement to the downside from there? But I'll look at being able to get in right around 1658 for the stop loss of 1681, having a take profit of 1615 as the overall move. Remember, we don't play inside of consolidation. We wait for everybody to keep on fighting, and then after that, making a movement to the down. Or after that, once the market moves to the downside, then we'll pounce on that movement. If it moves up to the upside, then that means that the market will be back inside of this consolidation. And if it's back inside of that consolidation, then I treat gold just like I've been treating for the last 3 months and not trading it at all. Okay, so we got a big block right here. We got a small block of consolidation. This market has to break below 1658. Once the market breaks below 1658, then we got an opportunity to be able to take it down to 1615. Type in a while, yes, if that makes sense for the overall trading opportunity um, as we kind of put everything else together. This would be the game plan from there. Let's see. Now, once again, this trade won't be taken until the market actually ends up breaking below. I'm going to end up filling out this trade. I fill out this trade after we end up getting into this session. After we leave from this session, that's no reason for me to do it now. It takes too much time. Okay, there we go. Give me one more second. Just want to make sure that my guys on. Let's see. So, channel. Okay, so there we go. Got the plan out. Everything's put together. Let's take a look at what's happening with United States dollar index. United States dollar index was in consolidation. The last time we ended up taking a look at it, I believe that it's probably going to end up being the same from a weekly perspective. It's already hit a D extension from a daily perspective. Uh, I'm sorry, from a weekly perspective, there's a D extension that's still out there. From a daily perspective, the market um, is very close to. No, let me rephrase that again. I did say that right. From a weekly perspective, the market has hit a D extension, which means that there's a better chance of the market falling at some point in time. From a daily perspective, there's a D extension. I got a lot of stuff on this chart. Why are these? Let me get rid of these fibs. I don't need these fibs. Fibs came in finally. Okay. The take profit that's still out there at 13,530, I believe, somewhere around there. From the last time we ended up taking a look at it. Currently, right now, as we get close to FOMC, we're going to end up seeing that there's going to end up being a 2 hour consolidation that's kind of building out at this particular point. Same thing that's happening with gold. Until the market breaks above 13,289, I would not be interested in being able to buy. Um, as this market kind of moves inside of consolidation, now we have an opportunity of being able to see how the market's going to end up reacting. Until the market actually ends up breaking above 13,289, I'm not interested in being able to take a buy until the market ends up breaking below 1388. I would not be interested in being able to take a sell. So United States dollar index for me, for the index, not US based pairs. The index is at a point to where I'm not going to end up making a move. More than likely, we're probably going to end up seeing that same thought process on most moves today. Don't jump into a move with the thought process that you're going to be able to ride this out and kind of swing trade it for 3 to 4 days without having a little bit of headache when it comes down to this movement. The reason why I say that is because I think that the market's going to end up being slow ultimately. And until this news comes out from Jerome Powell tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then we're probably not going to end up having a great move to be able to take a look at. Um, let's talk about what's happening with oil. Oil is moving down on the down channel at this particular point. As long as this market gives signs that it's going to keep on moving to the downside, then I will look at being able to trade. But at this point, I'm also looking at being cautious for this overall movement. There's a bearish crown that it has been moving to the downside. I got a lot of stuff going on right here. Lord knows if I'm looking at it like this, anybody that's new is like, what is this? um, let's see. I didn't want to get rid of that crown. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. So there's a broken A of this upfield move that ended up happening a few weeks ago, which means that there's a better chance of the market being able to make a U-turn to the downside and at least be able to complete the 7711 movement to the downside. That was based off of a daily trade. Now we take a look at what's happening off the 2 hour. We can see on the 2 hour that the market is once again steadily moving through consolidation. As we end up going through this overall trade, we end up taking a sale based off of this breakout of the consolidation right here yesterday, with the thought process of being able to get in, or with the thought process of being able to get out right around 7711. Currently, right now, the market has moved back inside of that consolidation. So the question is, are we going to end up having a new support, or are we just building inside of this overall area waiting for the market to be able to move? Now, keep in mind, news that's coming out today is going to end up being consumer price index. Um, Canada is really heavily has a heavy oil base when it comes down to what's happening for their economy and everything else. There's a huge correlation between oil going up in value and the Canadian dollar going up in value, and vice versa. So, with this being said, if the market ends up breaking below 84 again, then after that, I will still plug in that same trade that we end up looking at, which was taking a sale all the way down at 84, getting out at 7711. At this case, now we have to move the stop loss because we have a more practical number that we should be able to get out at, which will end up being above the highs of this consolidation. And then after that, we can ride it out until I believe probably the beginning of October. The reason why I say the beginning of October, typically, I know for my automation systems, my bots, and everything else like that, I've always noticed that from October to January, it's always that big push movement or the big push uh, season, quarter four, whatever you want to call it. That's where you can be able to make most of your profit at. So I'm trying to get everybody prepared when it comes down to that. To be honest, that's the reason why I'm creating a Discord. I want the Discord to be out there to where new traders and experienced traders can be able to communicate about what's going on for those moves and be able to take advantage of that. Um, but essentially, 8,400 will end up being a place where I look at being able to get in. Stop loss will be at 87. Take profit will end up being at 77 for its overall movement. Um, be about 70 points for us over to the downside. Risk reward factor is okay. We got 29 for 70. I'm good with that. The thing is, it just got to play out in our favor. I'm going to set an alert when this happens, and then after that, I look at pulling the trigger on this movement. But for right now, I'm going to stay and just be a little bit more patient as we speak on that one. All right. So here we go. United States dollar index. If there's any pairs that people are interested in, please make sure that you end up giving me a shout about them, and we end up going from there. If there's any pairs that people are interested in. Okay. Um, so US 30, what's happening? Um, what is being built out? Last week was in a major consolidation. We ended up riding this push all the way up to the upside, about 800 points to the upside. Market quickly crashed down when Jerome Powell started talking about interest rates and everything else. Market ended up falling from there 1,500 points. Built out a consolidation based off of this overall movement that ended up happening from 9-7. Then after that, fell down again and actually built up a support low at 30,580. Currently, right now, if we take a look at that, we take a look at what's happening with the natural support that ended up happening before. This is inside of this high volume node, large consolidation that was made before the summer actually ended up starting, or made in early July when the summer was starting. Typically, when there's a breakout of a long-term move, so we had a outer trend line, we had a breakout with this overall movement. Typically, you will end up having a retest. The question is, are we going and we're taking that movement to the upside for this retest and kind of retesting the backside of this outer trend line, or are we looking at a point to where this market could continue to keep on falling, as it could go all the way down to 26,100 to the downside, which is a major move to the downside for the push. Okay. Um, don't know that yet. We don't know that answer. Obviously, that's the reason why. That's the reason why I don't like playing inside of consolidation. I only move when the market breaks out, especially with this strategy. But as this market kind of makes its decision, this is what we did yesterday. Last time we ended up talking, we were talking about how the market was right here. This is what happened during the morning time. My direct statement was that I would not be interested in being able to make a sale at this particular point. I felt like because the market was in the buy zone that there was going to be at least an hour worth of a push, and that's exactly what ended up happening at the 9:30 movement. So the market ended up going from 30,500 pushed all the way up to 30,900. Big 400-point move for the people that like trading inside of consolidation. Once again, I'm not one of those people. Uh, but when the market ended up hitting resistance and it proved to be able to have a resistance, I took a sale yesterday at 30,930. That ended up going to the members of the Carter Cal Academy. If you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that, send me a message and I'll show you how to be able to do that. Market fell down to the halfway point. Remember, when the market is touched more than 3 times on resistance and support, there's a better chance of only being able to get out the halfway point. When I seen that the market bounce off of the VWAP, I ended up getting out of that move. And then after that, the overall expectation was that either the market was going to break to the downside or break to the upside for that movement. So I ended up setting those orders as well. We was able to make profit when the market ended up breaking out to the top side at 30,940 and getting out at 31,100. Currently, right now, the market has made a U-turn off of that move, and it's done bounced off of the past resistance of this move, turning it into a future support. And currently, right now, if we look at where we are, the market is in a buy zone. So the question would be, okay, well, what's the move? I would look at this and say that this is a possible buy move for the overall scalping opportunity. Don't know what's going to end up happening for the rest of the day, but I know that we are above this overall area, and we was in a previous vortex area to where the market could be able to move up to the upside. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stay that way all day. It just means that we're basically back inside of this area, and we can be able to move up to the upside. Now, here's the problem, and this is what I foresee going into tomorrow. We could take this buy trade right now, and I'm probably going to end up taking this buy trade right now because it's still above the vortex area and we're in the 15-minute buy zone. So at least we get an hour worth of overall movement. But if this market bounces up and it ends up consolidating inside of this area, it turns this whole block of movement into a potential large consolidation, just like what ended up happening in early July, making the movement from October probably going to end up being slow until the market actually ends up breaking out. So um, with all that long soliloquy of a statement, I'm going to end up I'm going to look at taking a buy right now off of this movement. I'm going to go with a very small percentage on this one because I just don't know. I just don't know what's going to end up happening for this overall move. But I am going to trade it back up to the 3100 area um, and see if we can be able to get something off of it. My only thing that I don't like is the VWAP and the moving average is above and everything is showing sale. 15 minutes in the buy zone. Hold on, let me set it. Let me stop. Hold on. 15 minutes in the buy zone. Market is already broken down. VWAP is telling you sell. Moving average is telling you sell. I'm going to hold off for a second. I'm not going to make that move yet. It's not aligned. It's touching the top of the consolidation, but not necessarily aligned. Don Chain is saying that it's bearish as well. I'm going to wait. I'll wait. Probably might end up seeing that it may go back to the halfway point and push back in. Um, and if I'm wrong, then we'll see by a quick counter trend line break. So let's do that. We'll wait till we get confirmation before getting in off of that movement. There's no reason to jump into it early, especially on a slow day. Today's expected to be slow. I'm saying that right off the bat. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to place that in. We'll see if the market kind of holds off of this position and breaks the counter trend line break. If that does happen, then after that, I'll look at being able to get in. I know I'm giving up prime position off of this one because I can have a very low stop loss, but there's no true area saying that it's ready to go aside from the 15 minutes. The 15 minutes saying that it's ready to go, but there's no true area when it comes down to that. Let's see what happens if I do this. Yeah. I'll be jumping in blind. I don't want to jump in blind. I'm gonna wait on that. We'll see what happens. If we get alert, then we'll look at being able to take it. Okay, so let's see what's happening with Nas. Maybe Nas might give us a story of being able to tell us to jump in. Nas 100 did the same thing. Pushed back inside his vortex area. End up hitting the top of this overall resistance level, or basically picking the top of that overall pocket and bouncing right in between this previous consolidation level. Currently, right now, 15 minutes in the buy zone, but everything else is saying that it's not necessarily ready. I'm going to wait for a counter trend line break for this market to be able to pop up as well. Legitimately the same plan. Stop loss would end up being stop loss will be below the swing low. Take profit will be back inside of this overall area. That's actually kind of building out a consolidation. And that kind of goes back to what I ended up saying before. I don't like trading inside of consolidation. If this is going to build a block of consolidation up here and push back up to that 12,000 area and kind of get stuck in here, then this whole area turns into consolidation. When I mean this whole area, I mean this whole area would turn into a major consolidation block, which is not necessarily unfamiliar when it comes down to September. Uh, because typically in October, when the market ends up making a decision on where it's going to end up moving, it moves pretty rapidly for what that spot. So um, we may see a potential big block of build up when it comes down to consolidation. That consolidation block would be about 500 points, and that may end up putting me into the back burner and saying that I'm not looking at being able to take a trade until the market breaks out of these points. So we'll see how everything kind of plays out today, and that's and obviously what happens tomorrow before being able to do something. So I'm going to hold off on that one as well. That's um, DAX has been our best performing um, pair that we've been trading. I didn't trade the pair up to the upside like the other pairs that we ended up taking a look at. Currently, right now, the market went up top, broke below, kind of finding a little bit of support right here at this spot. This chart is looking very wacky right now at this particular point, but the reason why it's kind of looking wacky is because it's in this large high volume node that we're looking at in this position. So I am gonna end up staying away. My trades are still active and ready to go at 12,600 for the move into the downside respectively, and 12,600 for a move to the downside. We end up having a trade in there earlier yesterday at 12,700 with the thought process of being able to get out at 12,450. As this market has started moving down, I did not trigger in a trade based off of that. Matter of fact, I didn't even plan the trade. So I can see that the 15 minutes getting to the buy zone. All three of these pairs are showing the same thing for its overall movement, but there's really no built-out consolidation area yet. We have a support, we have a resistance. That resistance has hit a couple times, um, but I wouldn't call this the natural built-up consolidation yet. The only way that it could be considered that is if this market falls down and hits these lows at 12,598 and then starts popping up again. If that does happen, then after that we have a larger block of consolidation that we have to worry about, and then after that we can kind of make a move off of it. But right now, DAX, just by the way it's showing it right now, would not pull the trigger on it. So I'm going to stay away from that. Um, let's see what time is it. We got time for one more pair. Any pairs that anybody are interested in for the people that are watching live? Any pairs that anybody is interested in? What did I just do? No, I don't need any help. What did I just do? Get me off of this. Um, okay. Everybody, give me one quick second. Let me figure out what's going on my screen. Okay. Thank you. Let me figure out what's going on. Okay, that's better. um, let me go back and take a look at this US 30 trade. How much would I be risking? About 30, about 30 points. If I'm going to take a trade on one of these pairs based off of what I'm looking at in this U-turn of potential area, I will only go for the one that gives us a better scalping opportunity. We haven't broke this counter trend line break yet, but I don't know if I push this up even further. That would be the overall trend. I'm going to take a trade. I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to take a trade on what's going on with US 30. It's going to be an instant trade right now. Stop loss is going to end up being below the swing low. I'm not going to play around with it if I end up. There's really no movement off of that. Stop loss will end up being at 38.90. 38.90. Every time 890 that I want to be able to get into a trade instantly. There's always a problem with this thing that I end up using sometimes. All right, so you end up taking a trade off of that one. I wait for the market to be able to pop up to the upside. Um, Take profit again will end up being at 30,100. Um, Taking this U-turn to the upside, stop loss is going to end up being right here. Okay, so long position, very tight stop loss. This going back up to 3,100. That is the game plan for this trade. I'm not looking at trying to get a lot. I'm not looking at trying to ride this out for a very long time. I think that this market is probably going to end up building out. It's going to end up building out a consolidation. The 15 minutes in the buy zone, that's the only reason why I'm taking this. Everything else is saying no. So I'm going to end up I'm going to end up putting a trail stop on it as well. My trail stop, if you use your brokerage, what's the best way to say it? If you use MetaTrader 5 on your computer instead of doing it on your phone, you can be able to set up a obviously you can be able to set up the trail stop. And in this case, since I'm going after 161 points, I'm probably going to make my trail stop 40 points. So that means that if the market ends up breaking up 40 points, it ends up moving my stop loss into break even. And from there, it will end up basically riding out that trade from there. Let's see if the same thing's happening off of Nas. So if people want to be able to take both trades, they can be able to have a chance. Nas is making that same movement as well. Entry will be right now. Stop loss will end up being just below this overall swing low, which will end up being at 18. I'm going to say 1860. Take profit will end up being back up into this overall consolidation area, only going out to 69 points or 68 points at 11,965. 11,965. Me personally, I am probably not going to take both of these trades. I'm already in on DAX. I'm okay with that for its overall movement. Both of them are not giving a lot of risk. Hold on. Let's see. Instant. 11,860. Take profit. 11,965. So 1-to-1 risk, or 1-to-1.8 risk reward ratio. We'll see how it kind of plays out if you want to be able to take that trade. Once again, both of these are scalps. I'm not looking at being able to get into any type of big trades. 15 minutes in the buy zone. Like I said, VWAP and the moving average is kind of going against us. So make sure that you have your trail stop up and ready to go based off of this movement. Get what you can, and then after that, just go ahead and get out based off of this movement. I think that sellers may end up hopping in maybe right around that 8 o'clock. Maybe right around that 8 o'clock time, so that'd be something to pay attention to. But there we go. If you wanted to be able to take one of those trades, there goes two opportunities right there. Remember, if this market U-turns quickly, just be aware and just go ahead and get out. You're not going to be in front of the computer, kind of like where I'm at right now at this particular point. I'm going to end up running a 40-point trail stop on US 30 and on Nas for this movement. So if it does go in my favor, it should push me into break even very quickly and allow me to be able to get started with my DAC. If I lose, then I lose. But I know that it'll be a quick loss, and I'm fine with taking a quick loss sometimes if we end up going from there. Like what I end up doing, clicking on click on that boost button. Obviously, building out a community. Our community is actually getting larger than our actual boost buttons or boost when it comes down to that movement, which is cool. But we'll see how everything kind of plays out. Remember, get it straight by the hour to see how everything kind of plays out for that movement. If you don't like what you end up seeing based off it turnaround and U-turning because it may end up hitting the top of the VWAP, then get out of it. If it does work in your favor, then obviously in the chat or in the thing, just say, hey, end up making profit off of it. It's always cool to be able to talk about profit. But like always, plan your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the 9 o'clock session today. And hopefully we can be able to say we had two winners and just got out the way and just watched everybody else kind of struggle when it comes down to catching that 9 o'clock. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the market's going to be very slow. I really do. So I think it'd be a good thing if just being able to jump in now and then trying to get what we can and kind of moving from there. All right. Everyone, plain trade, trade your plans. See you later. Take it easy.